Welcome to Direction Northeast. Hello, I'm Chris Mitchell. This program is a presentation of the Mass Communications Department of Northeast State Community College and is produced by students through the college's video production facilities. This series of programs is designed to bring you the student perspective on events and happenings throughout Northeast Tennessee, the classroom and laboratory learning processes for students in broadcasting and advertising public relations part of the mass communications area. This edition of Direction Northeast is about vampires and things that go bump in the night. Today's guests are Northeast State Director of Theater, Elizabeth Sloan, and playwright Catherine Bush. In just a moment, they'll talk about Northeast State's theater program and the new adaptation of the Bram Stoker classic, Dracula.
I've had a great experience at Northeast State. It has a lot to do with my teachers. They really set you up to succeed.
The Cardiovascular Technology program is one of 23 accredited programs in the United States. We have standards that are higher than other programs that we must meet.
With a new building and bigger facilities, it will enhance every student's experience.
The Regional Center for Health Professions, located in the new Kingsport Academic Village, houses all Northeast State's health-related programs. Northeast State, we're here to get you there.
I don't train like you.
I don't have the same skin as you.
I don't wear my hair like you.
I don't dance like you.
I don't come from the same place as you.
But I will give you CPR.
When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
Ms. Sloan and Ms. Bush, welcome to Direction Northeast. Tell us about this new production of Dracula. First of all, Catherine, why Dracula?
Well, gosh, there's so many reasons why I wanted to attack this play. The first production I ever saw of Dracula was at Actors Theater of Louisville when I was probably about 20 years ago. And I couldn't tell you anything of what the story was, I just remember the special effects. And I always thought, when I started writing plays, then about 15 years ago, that I would like to try to attempt to write a Gothic horror without the special, and let the story be told, without the use of all the bells and whistles, if you will. And that to see if you could create, with the minimal cast, the kind of eerie horror that the story, in reading the story, that comes through. And so it was a challenge. And Elizabeth and I had talked about doing Dracula for Northeast State, and I said, well, if you're going to have it done, I want to try to do it. So that's how it came about. Wasn't
Right
it?
place, right time. I think I was like, I want to do a Halloween show in the fall, and I want to do Dracula. She was like, I want to write it.
I wanted to write it.
That's how it happened.
There's a lot of productions of Dracula that are out there, but I don't know that a lot of them focus on the actual Bram Stoker story, the novel per se. And mine, I've made up characters as well to fill in blanks and stuff, but mine sticks probably closer to the story than a lot of them do, I think. Yeah.
So you really wanted to re-emphasize the character.
Character-driven versus spectacle-driven.
Right. Mm-hmm. And like you said, now, did you add or take away any characters from the original story?
From both. I did both. In adapting a piece of literature for the theater, you have to pull out of the book what is theatrical and place that on stage. And every time a person comes in the room in a play, they're coming for something. It makes it more action-packed, and they have needs and wants and desires. They call it keeping the stakes raised. Well, in a book, you don't have to have that.
Well, especially Bram Stoker.
Oh, Bram Stoker, yeah. You can take days.
It's epistolary.
Yeah, it's all written in letters. So it could take days to get from Transylvania to London on a boat, and you read about every day. Well, the audience would be asleep within 5 seconds of that. So you cut and paste, and then you add characters who reinforce these new conventions that you've set. And if somebody you don't need as much as the new one, then you get rid of them. They're gone.
Well, Elizabeth, let me ask you, how does that affect you directing this play then? You know, with it being character-driven, you know, as a director, how do you?
We're having more fun. You know, it's more fun for actors to explore characters. I have, Catherine wrote it in a way that we could do the show, I think with 8 people?
Is that how many?
Like there's like 15 characters, and then do double casting, have one actor play 2 roles. And that idea intrigued me, and I really wanted to do that, but I had all these Northeast State students come out that were good, and I wanted to work with them. So for me, it's been really fun. And we have a lot of beginners, actors, just to see them grow and play with the character. And some of them have had help with the book. They can use the book as a resource of who their character is, but then some of them had these invented characters that you use to help tell the story. And those scenes are some of my favorites because there was no parameters at all. We could really play with who that character is and discover who it is, just using Catherine's script, where other people could use the script and Bram Stoker's book. So it's been really fun to push them and watch those guys grow and make up their own character.
And did you just bring the fun approach to directing, or what did you have in mind, to begin with?
With the fun approach, well,
Elizabeth loves directing.
I think I'm fun in all things I do, but my favorite thing about working at Northeast State in this theater department that's still growing. My predecessor really grew the department, but now that we have this new facility that's 2 years old, it kind of sets a whole new ball game. So we're still growing our department and getting people to come in and get involved. I always love when it works out that it's open to the public. Auditions are, it's open to the public. Northeast State students get preference, but I love when it's a little bit of everyone. In this show, I have tons of Northeast State students, 3 community guys, and 2 ETSU students. And really, out of the Northeast State students, I think only 2 are theater majors in itself.
That's cool.
Maybe 3, and the rest are just, whatever.
That's cool.
I don't know, I can't even remember what some of their majors are, but it runs the gamut. So that, for me, that's fun already. Like, we're already starting out this place of fun, so we spend a lot of time getting to know each other and what's our common vocabulary in the world of the play. So we spend a lot of time doing that and getting to know each other.
Well, Catherine, let me bring this back to you. Why Northeast State? Why did you, give this to Northeast State?
Well, Elizabeth and I met, oh gosh, it's been 7 years ago now. Yes, it's been, she was in a reading. I had my first play. I was living in New York, and I had a play read at Barter Theater, and she was in the acting company at the time, and she was in my reading, and that's where we met. And we've kept in touch and become friends over the years.
She was in my wedding.
The oldest bridesmaid in America, I'm proud to say. I think I earned that title. And when she came back down to this neck of the woods, you'd been living in Chicago. Right. It just seemed a natural fit. I wanted to write it, and I'd like to think that people are knocking on my door, begging to do my work, but in truth, that's not what happens all the time. And when you find somebody who says, "Hey, I'd like you to write this for me. Would you do it?" I'm like, "Yes, of course." And that play in particular. I'd seen a lot of bad productions of Dracula. Can I emphasize that? And it was a challenge, and that's why Northeast State. It was actually the personal connection.
Well, back to Dracula, what was your inspiration, other than the obvious of Bram Stoker, what was your inspiration in writing this play?
Well, inspiration, I know that we live in an age of Twilight and something else. There's another Dracula.
True Blood.
True Blood, that's the other one.
Yeah.
And Anne Rice was big for a while with her vampire novels. Buffy. So as far as inspiration, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I forgot about her. I stopped watching TV like in the 80s because I don't have cable, and the music in the 70s. So I am out of touch with pop culture. So Bram Stoker was, and maybe some movies and productions that I've seen of it, were the only inspiration. I just knew in reading the book that I wanted it to be as scary. I read the book and I couldn't believe that a book written in 1890-something or early 1900s scared me as much as it did. And it wasn't because there was a lot of blood and gore. It was just that somebody's going to come in the window at night and get you, no matter what you do, or beckon you to come out so he can get you. And it scared me. It did actually frighten me. So I guess the inspiration was to try to capture that and put it on stage. And we'll see how we did.
Mm-hmm. We will. We will.
Yeah. Well, is your adaptation scary?
It's. I think so. I think so, and it's simple. It's scary. I hope so. It's not written to be funny, and a lot of plays I write are funny. I don't know if there's any comedic moments in there.
There may be like a smidge, like one or two.
One or two, yeah. It's not my typical. Usually I'll write the drama comedy, but this I just tried to translate. Somebody's coming, and they're going to suck your blood, and you're going to never die and be a vampire, And it is a scary thought to not live a normal life anymore and to have to eat children and and all that sort of thing. So.
Well, Elizabeth, as a director, did you make any significant changes to the script or to the,
No. I'd get in bad trouble. That's a big no-no. In fact,
we do it all the time.
Well, you're not supposed
No,
to,
you're
right? Theater is a collaborative arts, and the playwright is a very important step to that process, which was nice, having Catherine here, alive and well, living down the road.
Most directors, I think, prefer working with dead playwrights.
It's true. That doesn't work. Cut it. But Catherine even said, if something doesn't work, let me know. I'd be willing to change something. And really, we've had maybe like a word here that didn't work, or
sentence
we did
or something
else the other day.
You cut a scene. You said that you were going to show a flashback or something.
Yeah, I cut a flashback scene. There's some other like just word I changed the other day.
Right.
So when I do that, I let Catherine know you've been fine with all the changes.
Yeah, it's nice to know also what works. A director,
Exactly.
I look at playwriting as like laying the foundation for the house that's going to be built, the house of the world of the play, and all playwrights want to be consulted, but I also think of it as a collaborative art. I think, wow, those actors, by the time they're done with the play, they will know the characters better than I will. The director will know the play better than I will. Probably the lighting designer will know the play better than I will. I mean, and especially those characters. So if they feel like their character would not say it this way, they would say, would you mind if I change this line to this?
That's what it was. Because I haven't gotten it myself. The character is playing Van Helsing, who is doing a wonderful job. And he was like, man, I don't think Van Helsing would say this. Like it was a word that was contracted and he didn't think it should be contracted. Just something like that, something simple. And I was like, well, let me know those changes and then we'll let Catherine know because she may find that helpful.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I have often changed lines, or I'll watch a show of mine, I'll be in the audience, and an actor will say the right line wrong, but will say it better. And I'm like, oh, that's better.
Well
and then I'll take
done.
the credit and I won't give them any royalties. Don't even for these things.
Don't
think for a minute, but yeah,
don't.
They get paid. I don't feel bad for them.
And obviously the actors have a preconceived idea of what Dracula is. Catherine, how do you deal with preconceptions or preconceived notions of Dracula when writing this?